Big-time season. And our next guest is a big-time coach. And let's face it, I know he's humble. We've had him on a million times, and he might shy away from this. But let's be honest, with Roy Williams gone, Hubert Davis taking over that program, and Coach K on the way out, there is a shortage of iconic coaches that are still there. And you got to say that at this point, Jay Wright's becoming that guy with 2 championships at Villanova and a few others. But Tom Izzo, he's one of our favorites, and he's back with us here locally this time. Coach, what's happening, Iz? How are you, buddy?
I'm good, guys. I think you're going to just say old coaches, not iconic.
Well, that too. I mean,
how about the same kind of letters, ancient? How's that? Is that better?
You're definitely not that. You're definitely not that.
You got that youthful exuberance, though, Coach. And listen, you don't play fools well. I loved what you said with the whole thing with Michigan, obviously, Juwan Howard, that situation when everybody said, we can't shake hands at the end of a game anymore. You're like, dude, if we can't shake hands anymore, it's basically the end of society. I love that take, Tom.
Yeah.
You know what? I really did feel that way, and I even talked to Juwan. He didn't feel like they shouldn't have him. You know, it was just, people make rules. If one thing goes wrong, if it affects 1% of the country, they make a rule on it now. You know, that's our country. It's one of the screwed up things, if you ask me. But
I agree.
I just, I love some of the handshake lines. I mean, I get to know some of the players. You kind of see how a coach. I said this the other day. If you watch the game when Coach K, when they got beat the other day, you saw him sitting there talking to a couple of the players from Virginia Tech's team and that. Who would do that? Yet why wouldn't you do it? That kid will remember that for 100 years. And I learned a lot about some kids and coaches during that. So, that's just my take, but who the hell am I?
You ever get heated? You ever get heated in the handshake line like Juwan did, Coach?
Yeah, one time I did. We played against my old buddy, same arena, Bo Ryan. And
Whiskey.
They made a dunk at the end, and I just told him I'd remember that. I still shook his hand. I didn't smack him or anything. But I probably wanted to at the time, but I just didn't. But, and who knows what happened in the game. Everybody can say, well, Juwan should have done this or that. But I don't think anybody knows what really went on and what players said stuff. I mean, sometimes there's players now that express their opinions on things too. So I just hope that lighter heads prevail and, and we move forward. We don't change the speed limit because somebody ran off the road at 55,
We do overreact a little bit too much. I'm with you on that, Coach. We're talking Tom Izzo, Michigan State, 7-10 matchup. Davidson, Coach McKillop, has McKillop done a really good job out there. We had Danny Hurley on yesterday, Tom, and the thing I asked Danny with the transfer portal and the incredible change to college basketball the last 10, 12, 15 years, although it's really amplified now. Forget about getting ready for the NCAA tournament, watching film on a team you don't really know. You going into the season didn't even have a real beat, I wouldn't imagine, on most of the teams in the conference because of the turnover. It's just a totally different job right now.
Yeah.
That's very well said. And I, as you know, I'm not for it because I still think, and it's starting to pan out where, we had a quarterback that transferred here in football and was going to start and got beat out and never played it down. He was starting at another school for 2 years. You hear a few success stories, but there are a lot more crash and burn stories that you don't hear about that are going to affect the kids. I think coaches are to the point now where they're not using all their scholarships because you can't keep anybody happy and everybody wants to transfer. Hell, I want to transfer a lot of times in this job. I just don't, but there's times I wanted to transfer too, but you work your way through it and all of a sudden good things happen. And so it has made it more difficult. It makes it more difficult in this game. One of our kids who, I helped him transfer there in Foster Lawyer, and it was a great deal for him, for Bob. And, I think Bob's a great coach. But now we got to play him, and he knows our offense and knows our personnel. And some reporter here asked me, well, who do you think has a bigger advantage? And I said, I wanted to call the guy an idiot, but I didn't. And
You weren't going to
well,
shake his hand, huh, Coach?
Well, no, I was going to slap him, to be honest with you. But I said, well, I know one guy on their team, Foster. He knows every guy, every coach, every play, every out-of-bounds play. But sometimes guys that never played sports have no clue, as you know.
Yeah. No,
Boy, you're in an interesting mood today. Usually,
the
I
credit
love it
belongs
there,
to the
Tom.
man in the arena.
Love it,
the
Dave.
guy who's willing. Coach, you've done this for so long, and every year. I mean, going back to when I graduated from high school, I think. College. I got from college. You've been in the NCAA tournament back to 1997, 98. How has it changed in your estimation? You've seen it grow. You've seen the one and dones come in. You've seen the transfers you talked about. It's much harder, I think, to win it now than it ever has been. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think there's more parity because nobody wants to sit behind anybody, and yet it's also more watered down because nobody does. I'm sure you guys all have a little pool, and you have your brackets. I mean, we're not allowed to do that. That's illegal, considering gambling. If I pick, my damn kid picked Duke over us a couple years ago. I did remove him from the will. But anyway, it's changed. But, like the old saying in football, Tiki, is, you still got to block and tackle.
Yeah.
You still got to do the same things. You still got to play better than your opponent. You probably got to defend and not turn the ball over. I mean, it's the aura of it, and the social media has made some changes. But at the end of the day, when you get on the court, it's no different than getting on the field, on the baseball diamond, or anything else. You gotta do the things you got to do to win. And what gets harder for a coach is that's distorted now a little bit. So many people are getting in kids' heads, but in general, I think when it's all over, if you do those things well, you have a great chance to win.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking to Tom Izzo, of course, great coach, Michigan State. You guys are playing Davidson. That's Friday. It's the late game on CBS 940. By the way, late game's got to be a little bit of a challenge for you, kind of sitting around all day, right?
It is a long day, as you know. It's but as I say, there's two things I say about it. It's number one, 20-year-olds. They're probably just getting dressed to go out, so on normal nights. And two is it's the same for the other team. So it is what it is, and I understand it. Hell, we played. I think last year when we played UCLA, it ended up 10-20 at night. So that was a little more difficult.
That's
but
tough.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. No, I got you.
It's the same for both.
Yeah, you're not going to make excuses. I didn't expect that you would. No, I got you, Tom. You talk about, we hit this before about transferring and how kids too often, I'm not getting burned. Coach isn't giving me the license to run the offense. I'm just going to get up both and transfer. And when you do that, there's a real chance for personal growth and growth of character. It's not always a smooth ride up the highway in life. We know that. We're a little bit older, and we, married kids. We've seen what happens. You're older than us. You've seen even more. I would think, though, Tom.
Hey, I don't need to take that kind of abuse on the show. You don't have to, you put me as ancient. You put me as older than you guys. I mean, I thought I was doing you guys a favor.
You are.
What did I do to you guys?
Nothing but treat us great, man. There's no disrespect. I love you.
I'm just kidding.
But I would think, Tom, one of the hard things, if not the toughest things to do, is to rein in these kids coming in from AAU and high school systems where they can shoot from wherever. Really, the latitude to shoot from 30 feet. I mean, that's a challenge that's not talked about that much because just because there's a 3-point line doesn't mean that you've got the green light to use it. So how do you navigate that with these young kids coming in? Shot selection. Nobody really gets into that. I'm curious.
That is a good point, and what my old boss, Judd Heathcote, used to say, he never had that problem with Magic because the great players know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and I remember telling a kid once last year, why did you take that shot? There's 40 seconds left in the game. You're not a great 3-point shooter, and why would you take it? Time and possession. And you know what his answer was?
What's that?
Hey, Coach, I was open.
Hey, I can't blame him. I'm open, Coach.
Yeah. Judd would say, they got scouting reports too. There's a reason you're open.
Yeah. That is true.
It's one of the challenging parts, on how you give a kid confidence. You don't take it away, but you try to teach him that there is time and possession and there is situations. But I swear everybody's got to be able to shoot a three now. If you're 8 foot tall, the key to success is can you shoot a three? And I don't think that really is that way, but that's the perception sometimes.
Yeah. Coach, just a more serious question about the NCAA and in basketball. We all remember the FBI stuff from a couple of years ago, and it felt like, man, the conferences and the college basketball is going to get taken down. NIL then comes in a couple of years later, and as well as the Alston decision against the NCAA. It feels like it's changed, but then we get the Will Wade firing right before the tournament. Your ideas on the state of the game and where it is as it pertains to like improprieties and things of that nature. Where is college basketball right now?
You guys should get back into college sports because we don't even have a salary cap anymore. I love my job. I'm worried about my profession. I guess that's the best way I can say it. I just think that I don't know what I would have done. I don't think there's going to be as much money as people act. I mean, there's a quarterback here and there that's going to get them, and as we know, but basketball could be worse. What would Zion gotten, or somebody that's really a game changer? LeBron if he was coming out, but in general, basketball they're going to get that money a year later anyway.
Yeah.
Football you got to wait 3, I guess, but in general, I just worry what it does to the people. I argue with Jay Billis about this all the time. I mean, it sounds good, but we've all gone through a process. I mean, every one of us were either, backups to somebody in junior high or high school, or then you get to college, you don't get everything all at once. You get into coaching. I mean, I was a GA for so long that I'm still paying back my GA loans, but it does teach you a lot of things. And I'm just afraid that these guys, and what do you do when you got money? I mean, for a guy that had no money. I mean, my buddy Mariucci was in this weekend for the games, or last weekend, and we were talking about living in that trailer back in northern Michigan and having no money, and yet those were some of the happiest days of our lives. But, if you would have had money at 20, I worry about the gamblers, the drug people. I mean, it brings a lot of people into the act that maybe wouldn't be there. So I don't know. I struggle with it. I mean, I do understand. I want kids to have a little more. I don't think kids are sending money home to mom like used to be stated. But I always thought we should get more, maybe, but not the outrageous things that are going on, because I think it's going to affect people.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Coach. What troubles me is
what's that?
I hear you. The gambling, the drugs. Like, there's unsavory characters for every generation. All right, they come out of different, I guess, different parking lots or whatever.
Holes. Yeah,
different disguises. But that's not new. What bothers me, what worries me, is the better word. Not bothers, although it does bother me as well, is that social media, all right, has accelerated the stardom in the minds of the kids to such a degree that it's desensitized not only the players going through the process, but also residually us to a large extent. Like, we no longer respect the process of going, the labor. The getting from point A to point G. It's got to be one straight shot, and that's not good. Being great at anything is not easy, and social media make it seem like it is, and that's bad. That's bad for everybody.
Well, like in football and basketball, which is more prevalent as far as everybody sees it, everybody thinks if you go to college, that's your right now that you're a pro. I mean, 1% of the college basketball players make it to the pros. I think 1.4% of college football. It's such a small percentage. But that's what I say. What's going to happen when these kids, they get $50 for a cameo deal at signing their name, happy birthday, or whatever the stuff is. And then all of a sudden they graduate, and they're just like the rest of the world, because 99% of them aren't going on the Pro Bowl. And then they're going to be sitting there with their hand out saying, who's paying for my
Yeah.
my autograph?
Yeah.
Nobody, son. You're out of luck now. I'm just not sure we're teaching them what's going to help them in the next 70 years of their life. But that's my opinion. Some will say old school. I'll say right school. You can take it either way you want it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I guess we'll leave it on a hoops note specific to the court. We mentioned the 7-10 matchup with Davidson, one of your former players there. Generally, Tom, you open most years the big dance with, a short list of teams that's got a real chance to cut down the net and make it out of a region and get to the Final Four. I know that that's your hope, and that's certainly your inner conviction, but is this team built to make that kind of a run? Do you really feel it?
Well, let's be honest about it. You two are both tight, so I know you're not betting the ranch on us right now. But
I mean, if you'd beaten Purdue last week, maybe I would have.
It's only a 1-point spread, Tommy. I might go with Davidson. I don't know.
Yeah, we've beaten Purdue. We've beaten Wisconsin. We've played Illinois to the wire. We play, UConns and Baylor's and Kansas's. So, do I think we're? I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're anybody's favorite, but I've been a 7 seed before and gotten to a Final Four. So I'm going to just keep using that. I've been a 5 seed, a 4 seed, but I've also been a 1 seed and got beaten the first weekends, or 2 seeds, I should say. So, you know what? I think you guys would agree, and I know you follow it seriously at this time of year. There is no clear-cut favorite. In 2009, we played North Carolina at the beginning of the year. They beat us by 25. We played them in a championship game. They beat us by 20. They would have beat the Lakers and the Celtics that year. They were that much better.
Was that the game at Ford Field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you fell asleep at halftime. We were down
No, I left. I went to the bar.
Yeah, there you go. I wanted to, too, but they wouldn't let me out. But anyway, it was I don't think it's like that this year. I think there's so many teams that have been a little more up and down. I claim it's because of all the other things that are going on. I think it's harder to keep guys focused, but every team except maybe Gonzaga, and I love Gonzaga, but they're in a different league conference, but you look at every team. Auburn, everybody thought was unbelievable. Baylor, unbelievable. Duke, unbelievable. They're all losing. Illinois and Purdue in our league, everybody's gone through their periods of time. And so I would say this, my biggest fear is getting through the first game. I think Davidson is really good. They shoot the 3. I mean, that's a problem. They shoot it at an efficiency rate that I think is in the top 6 or 7 in the country. And so we are playing better. We went through a couple-week slump, and we didn't play very good. But we're not a great team. But we're getting better. And, when I had Denzel Valentine as a junior, we made a magical run, and we're in a great team. So who knows? I don't blame you guys for not betting us in the pool.
Hey.
But at the same time, we've done some things before, and that's what we're going to try to do again.
That's right, and you make it easy to root for you, Coach, and we appreciate you always.
Yeah,
So.
if the Spartans could only find the decent game coach, you guys might be in decent shape.
I agree. And so do our 600,000 alums.
yeah, right. They're praying you never leave. Who are you kidding, man?
Right.
Listen, Tom.
Go shake all their hands and smile at them.
Yep. Do your
I'm
thing.
gonna hug and kiss a couple guys.
That's right.
That's awesome. Thanks for the time. Really appreciate the honesty and candor. Good luck. Go get Davidson, man.
Be good, Coach.
Take care, man.
Thanks, Tommy.
Guys.
There he is,
guys.
Tom Izzo.